Then go on Instagram, go live. All right. Here. Hmm. It's coming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to a new edition of Clock It with AD Bryant. As you know, I'm your host, Paul A. Bryant, and it's gonna be a fun night. I tell you, we got a couple of new things that has happened. First, I know you all have noticed we got double shots now. So we got different angles. Angle here that says clock it. Then we got the traditional angle. But got a new studio, got a new lab. You see, you got the initials on the wall, got a new clock it clock. Of course, I love my golf, so I had to play golf and put my golf balls and all that. But it's a new studio. That means it's a new day. And I haven't seen you guys in over a month because there's some things that have happened. I don't look like what I've been through, and just thank God for what I have gone through and where I am right now. So today's gonna be fun. Today's gonna be fun. You're gonna get to know someone that I have known for a little while, and I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be a good show. But as we always do, I even got a couple of new sponsors. I'm blessed. We're blessed here at It's Just a Game. So let me show you the sponsors. Sponsors, of course, Unseen Faith by Tyler Renee. She's been with us. We have our new sponsor, Bo's Best Wings. They are the best wings, I think, ever. They have the best wings. So you got to go and see Bo's Best Wings. Of course, the Fellowship of Faith Church. The Fellowship of Faith, they have this podcast called Make Him Known Podcast. So check them out. Let's eat. Be intentional. Intentionally communicate and intentional love. You check out Let's Eat. R&R Sports. That's another new sponsor. R&R Sports. They have everything apparel. Timothy Alexander, inspired by TA. His slogan, we don't need it to be easy. We just need it to be possible. Check out Inspired by TA. Council Consulting Group. They're striving to position HBCUs for success in fostering academic excellence, driving innovation, and empowering students to thrive in a competitive global landscape. Council Consulting Group and Scripturals. You know what they say? If you're happy, they're happy. Check them out. They are one of the best in the business. All right. So, you know, before I go on, I have to say this podcast is an IJAC production. The opinions of this podcast are the sole opinions of It's Just the Game Sports Consulting LLC. Follow us on all of our social media. USC is scrolling at the bottom, and you can just follow us on everything that we have. Subscribe on YouTube. We like to see subscribers. All right, but now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Kristene Kelly. She's the director of athletics at Albany State, and with over 20 years of experience across all NCAA divisions, she's a trailblazer in sports leadership, a champion for student athletes, a driving force behind innovation and inclusion in college athletics. I am honored to have her as a guest today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kristene Kelly. Hey, Doc.
Hey, clock it. Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? Uh-oh.
Doing fantastic. And I apologize if my internet is going in and out. So if you don't hear something, I will repeat it. I apologize.
Hey, no problem, Doc. I'm just happy to have you on. We know that you are a busy woman, have done an exceptional job at Albany State. And we're going to get to know you a little bit better. But let me tell you how this platform goes. It is a 15-minute platform, right? So I have a game clock right here. That game clock, I hit it. When it says when the time is up, game's over. Now, we do have sponsors that have paid for some overtime. So if we need to go over overtime, we'll be all right too. But it's 15 minutes. All right. Tell me, are you ready?
I'm ready. If you're ready,
right.
Let's do it.
I'm going to hit the clock. And there we go. Now, all right, Doc. You know, you have a presence in social media and branding. With your enhanced social media presence, your initiative like the 60 Seconds with AD Kelly. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So one of the things when I first got hired here at Albany State, and let me back it up and say that I'm a sports information director by heart. So by trade, by heart, I love telling stories. And one of the things that I wanted to clock it. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to enhance our social media presence. I mean, that and telling our story. How do we enhance our branding? And social media is one of the best places to do that because it gives us an opportunity to connect directly with our fans, alumni, as well as our recruits. So with that being said, and telling the story, I'm like, I would love to do a 60 Seconds with AD Kelly. Now, I will be honest, I have not been as consistent as Clock It with AD Bryant. So I do need to do a little better with that. But overall, that is exactly one of the things. And that's the reason why I do what I do in terms of the branding, controlling our narrative, because that's important. If you don't control your own narrative, somebody will control it for you. And half the time, it won't be right. So that is big for me, is just really telling that story and making sure that people clock it and they got to see the full Albany State experience, not just wins and losses, but everything that we do behind the scenes, et cetera.
You know what, Dr. Kelly, one of the things that you said that you were a SID by trade, that bodes well in this type of job because now everything is social media. Everything is right now. Everything is about information getting to the people immediately. And I think that trait will bode well in this role. And you have done that with the 60 seconds. But there is something else that is your key phrase. And every time I talk to you, I tell you, I say it because it has caught on. And that is consistency is what?
It's key. Consistency is
Yes.
key.
Yes. Yes. So that's another
And,
phrase. Tell
for
me
me,
about
it's
that.
true in everything that we do. Yeah. So consistency is key, is big for me. So I have what I like to call my 5 F's that I literally live by: faith, family, fitness, fun, and food. Those are the things. So if you see me on social media, one of those 5 things you're going to see in everything that we do. So with consistency being key, that's the fitness side of it. I'm not going to tell our athletes to do anything that I'm not doing myself, meaning there are days that I don't want to get up. There are days that I don't want to go exercise. There are days where I just don't want to do anything. But if you're consistent in the work that you're doing, right, then we will continue to keep the eyes on the prize and get to that point. So consistency is key. And every time my athletes see me, they're like, Dr. Kelly, consistency is key. And I'm like, yes, it is. Consistency is key. And it holds me accountable as well, because I think that's how we show our athletes, our fans, our alums, anyone who follows me or follows us. If we're continuing to be consistent, we will absolutely continue to be successful.
Now, you talk about consistency. You have been throughout the NCAA landscape. Tell us about your
Yeah,
journey and where you've been and some of the positions that you have. Because being an African American woman in athletics, and you're at the highest position at your institution as far as athletics. How how did your past experience really shape you getting to where you are now? And what did you need to get to where you are now?
absolutely. So one thing that I'll say is it's persistence, it's
Mhm.
being detail oriented,
Mhm.
it is getting in rooms with people who are in the hiring authority. So for example, I say this to my assistant coaches all the time: if you want to be a head coach, I don't think head coaches hire head coaches. ADs hire head coaches. So are you in the room with head coaches? If you want to be an AD, a head coach isn't hiring an AD, presidents are. So am I in spaces where presidents know me, and those types of things? I would say that that was key. But in terms of my journey, Cliff Notes version:
Yeah.
softball student athlete at Johnson C. Smith University, was not eligible my first year. We could talk about that. That's a story for another day, because you may see me with 4 degrees right now, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
But I turned adversity into a benefit for me. That's how I learned sports information. Was that first year I could type really well. Shout out to my daddy. I know he's in heaven, but he sent me to secretarial school when I was 9, and I could type really fast.
Right.
So I was able to do my work study in the athletics department. I learned how to do stats, and that went on to basketball stats. That went on to football stats. That went on to interning, all of that. So I take all of that experience with me. I go to graduate school at the University of Tennessee, where I got a graduate assistantship.
Mhm.
Left there, came back to Johnson C. Smith, but because I had done such a great job when I was there as a student,
Right.
when the gentleman was leaving, he said, "Hey, I made a recommendation to you, or to the president, for you to be the SID." So I did that for
Oh,
6.5 years. Went
wow.
on to St. Aug, and again, we could talk about all of that. There's a whole lot that goes along with that, but went on to St. Aug within the CIAA as an associate AD, did
Mhm.
that for a while. Then I was a faculty athletic rep. I've been a department chair. I've been an adjunct professor. I've done all of that. And then the positions just weren't coming. And Paul, as you know, you apply for multiple positions, you
Right.
interview, and a
Right.
lot of times you don't get. So I ended up having to get out of my comfort zone. I'm an
Mm.
island girl, born and raised St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and I got an athletic director job at a Division III school in Keene, New Hampshire. New Island girl living in New Hampshire. But again,
Right.
you have to get out your comfort zone. And while I was there, position came open at Dartmouth. They were looking for a senior associate AD. And I'm like, whoa, the Ivy
Right.
League? Like me, this island girl, this HBCU person at the Ivy League? So
Right.
I had to make that decision. Do I
Wow.
stay in the seat, knowing that
Yeah.
there were at the time only 11 of us, or do I move on
Mm.
and go into the Ivy League, where I know I can make a greater impact? And that's what I did. But that experience at Dartmouth opened it up to say, okay, now she's Division I. Now she's
Yep.
been at the highest level in terms of a high academic institution. Vanderbilt comes calling. High academic
Yes.
institution, Division I. So do you see how it all came together? Because
Yes.
I wasn't afraid to step outside of my comfort zone. And
Yes.
then now I'm here at Albany State, and by choice of being here. And this is a passion, this is a purpose for me, Paul,
Yes.
in doing this work. So I love
Yes.
what I do and glad to be here.
And we know that you love what you do because you do it well, and I'm always excited to talk to you and watch what you do. But you said something earlier. You talked about you were not eligible at first, but at Albany State, I know for a fact that the GPA of your student athletes were below a three, like a 2.9 something, and
Mhm.
now it's above a three. Talk about what you've done
Mhm.
there to increase that your GPA.
A part of that, yeah. A part of that is just being accountable, knowing the numbers. I couldn't tell you when I first got here if my coaches truly knew what their individual team GPAs were. I couldn't tell you if the people in the department knew what the department GPA was. So for me, it's telling the story. It's being accountable. It's showing it to them to say, "Hey, we're at a 2.934. There's something magical about that 3.0. When you apply for scholarships, 3.0. When you need this, 3.0. We celebrate 3.0s. So how do we sit here and elevate ourselves in not just what we're doing on the athletic side, but what are we doing academically? Because ultimately, we want these young people to graduate. So
Right.
with that, I just told every coach, if you increase your team GPA by 0.10, just 0.10, I
Listen to that.
promise you we'll get to where we need to be. So we went from a 2.934 to a 2.967 to a 3.06 to now a 3.12. And our target for this year is a 3.2. And we're going to get it. We're
Yes,
going to get it.
you're
And we
gonna get
celebrate our
it.
young people too.
Yes, yes, and that's the
We're
I
going to
think
get it. And we celebrate.
I know, and I
Yeah.
love it. But again, I watch, and that's what I love to see. You really do celebrate your student athletes, and I love that. But there's a you do some great things with facilities as well, and when we talk about investing in our student athletes, investing in infrastructure, tell us about this football field turf. I think it's
Let me tell you, first of all, I'm talking to AD Bryant. It's a blue. It's a blue turf field.
yeah.
And, I'm talking to AD Bryant, who is at Alabama A&M, who has probably by far the best facilities in HBCU world. So I'm just trying to get your level in what you do. But we had an opportunity with the Arthur Blank Family Foundation, and they wanted to do something for HBCUs kind of within their region.
Right.
And they had a grant that was a $1 million grant to be able to resurface
Mhm.
a football field, whether it's turf or natural grass. Now we've had natural grass, and I'm like, okay, here's a chance for us to have turf because it
Right.
goes bigger than that. Now you're cutting down on your maintenance, all of that because it's turf.
Right.
So, got with Coach Gray, who, believe it or not, is probably one of the most strongest people I know who has an eye for design. Because at
Right.
first we were just
Wow.
going to go with a regular green field. And he was like, well, Dr. Kelly, let's do something a little different. It was his idea, honestly, for the blue turf field. And it took some
Wow.
convincing because,
Yeah.
we have some traditional folks who
Right.
do not want to do anything but let's be traditional. But the reality is what sets us apart. Every high school within, the radius of within 100-mile radius of Albany State or Albany, Georgia, had a regular turf field. They've had it for 20 years. So what does a green turf do for us? Nothing. So we ended up doing some convincing, and we're a part of the system of Georgia. We had to go through that whole process.
Right.
And not only did the Arthur Blank Family Foundation give us this turf field, but they literally allowed us to make all types of changes that we needed to have made within the infrastructure of our ASU Coliseum to the tune of $1.9 million. Even though the grant was only one, they got us to 1.9. And everything from pylons to goalposts to irrigation to you name it. It is a beautiful field. And what a lot of people don't know, AD Bryant, is we had to seek permission from Boise State to get a
Oh,
blue turf field because
really?
they own the rights to the color blue in a turf field.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't
Yes.
know that. Yeah, they were the
Yes. We had to
first. I
seek
got it.
permission. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I seen it and it looks fantastic. I am hoping that you, instead of us coming to Albany, I need you guys to make a trip to the
I'm
Hill
ready.
to
Send me a
play us.
contract.
But
Yes,
I do want to
we
go
would
back.
love to come to the Hill.
Oh, okay. Well, as they say, clock that, because we will make it happen. So you are again a leader in this business. What were some of the hurdles that you faced in becoming an AD as an African American woman?
Whew. Listen, let me tell you this. How much time do we have? Because I know we don't have a whole lot of time. But honestly, it's to do it twice as good as
Mhm,
as a man or as
mhm.
someone who doesn't look like you.
Yeah.
There is, even to this day, there is a lot of misogyny that still
Mhm,
exists in
mhm,
this business. There are people who don't think women can lead successful athletics programs.
mhm.
And you have to work through that, and you have to find your own peace and your own strength and understand that, you know what, not only I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it so well, you're going to wonder how did it happen without me being
Yes,
here in the past.
yes.
So, that part is hard. And I realize that the better that I do a job, it'll make it easier for somebody else coming after me.
You're right.
So shouldering that,
That's
taking that
right.
type of responsibility, putting that on your shoulder and knowing that being one of very few women who lead successful athletics programs or just programs in general, it does require quite a bit going on interviews and knowing you're just the token
Right.
to say
Mm,
that we did this, and we did interview someone, but knowing that you weren't truly interested in hiring me.
mhm.
So that part is hard when you navigate through that, knowing that sometimes, if I can be completely honest, if my name were Christopher and not Kristene, I may not get the pushback that I get now. To
Right.
this day, I still
Wow.
get pushback.
Right.
But you know what? I let the work speak for itself.
Yep.
And I always say, let the work speak for itself, but give it a microphone. And that's what
Clock
I do. I give it a microphone.
clock it. Clock it. So if I'm a person that is trying to get into business, and I'm a African American woman who is thriving to be in that seat and have received lots of no's and that sort of thing, what are you going to suggest to them to do?
What I'm going to say is, one, you fall down 7 times, you get up 8,
Mhm.
right? Because there's
Yep.
at some point there's going to be a yes. And when that
Mhm.
yes comes, it's going to be the right yes. But you
Yes.
also need to put yourself in positions to be recognized, to have people who are sponsoring you, because there's a difference between a sponsor and a mentor, right? The
Mhm.
mentor
Yep.
is, going to give you advice and that type of thing. The sponsor is going to speak your name in rooms that you're not in. And a
Right.
lot of times it doesn't have to look like you. I don't have to be your mentor, your sponsor. It could be a Paul Bryant. How many times are men speaking up for you in rooms, or other women, people of different races and that type of thing? Who do they know you? It's
That's right.
important. Or is your work speaking for itself? Are you putting yourself in positions to be known? And do people even know what your goals are?
Mhm.
Because you
You're
have to speak it. You have to let
you're right.
people know, and then you have to act it. You have
Right.
to act like you want to be an AD. Think at a higher level. Think about the strategic pieces that ADs are dealing with, rather than just from where I sit at this level. So, I
Right.
mean, there's so many different things that we could obviously, in terms of give advice. But
Yes.
what I'll say is, definitely find people who are in your corner and who will speak your name when you're not in that room. But do the
Clock it.
work and do it well. I'm
That's
talking
clock.
do it so well that they're wondering, man, how did we miss this? How did we miss this dead hire?
Right, right, right. Well, clock it. Now, the clock went off, but I have one question
Okay.
that I have to ask. Yeah, the 15 minutes went up, but I do have one question, and I want you to kind of elaborate about creating legacies. You have a program creating
Yes.
legacies. I need you to talk about that for a second.
Okay, real quick, what I'll say is creating legacies, and you'll see us hashtag that a lot
Mhm.
in everything that we post on our social media. And for me, it's more than just a hashtag. It's really about the impact that we're making long after the final whistle has blown, long after the students are here or not here. For me, it's how are we preparing our young people not only to graduate, to be successful, to be great members of their community, but to go back into the world better than the way they came in. So for me, it's really the culture that we're building here is leaving that lasting impact on our communities. So it's more than just, oh, that's a fun hashtag. No, it's really about how do we set our young people up for success within not only just the student athletes, but also our coaches and staff, so they can go back into the world better than the way they came in.
Wow. Clock it. Clock it. Well, Doc, I appreciate you being on Clock It with AD Brian. Everybody, I'm going to tell you, when you're watching and you've heard, this is Dr. Kristene Kelly. I told you she's one of the best in the business. So you got to go follow her on all her social media and go over to Albany State and check her out because she's good at what she does. And you just remember, it's just a game. So be humble, stay humble, but most importantly, be your best. See you next time. God bless. Peace.
Rio.